Hey everyone, it's Hans and welcome back. As most of you know, I thoroughly enjoy drinking coffee, and my preferred brand of coffee, especially when at home, just so happens to be Nespresso. Now, if you are a Nespresso drinker much in the way that I am, you most likely would have also come to a similar problem that I had when living that Nespresso lifestyle. And that is, where do you put your Grand Cru, which is the Nespresso capsule? Do you take a sleeve and just leave it in the cupboard and simply open it and take a capsule whenever the need arises? No, I don't think so. If you live the Nespresso lifestyle in the way that Nespresso thinks that you should, I think that you're most likely going to buy one of Nespresso's capsule dispensers. And this is where this video comes into place. I'm going to be looking at two of what I think are Nespresso's best capsule dispensers, namely the Bonbonniere and the touch sleeve dispenser. Which one of these two is actually the best, and what purposes do they serve in terms of your coffee lifestyle? Well, let's find out. So the first one we're going to look at is the Nespresso touch sleeve dispenser. It does have the Nespresso logo on the left and right hand sides of the device, as well as the Nespresso trademark markings on the front and the back. It also rotates a full 360 degrees very easily, no noise, and it just functions and works as intended. On the whole, it kind of looks like a cylinder that has had two of its sides cut off. And the reason for this is because each side allows three of Nespresso sleeves to be easily inserted, like so. Then all you need to do is press your thumb in and push down, and that's how you open one of the sleeves for the Nespresso touch sleeve dispenser. At first glance, this looks easy and convenient, and for the most part it is. Assuming, of course, you live in a household where people can actually open the sleeves properly for this dispenser. If you don't, like myself, what will end up happening is people will break the bottom when opening a new sleeve, and if that happens, you can just kiss the dispenser's usefulness goodbye, because all of the capsules are just going to run out. In addition to that, I also found that with some of Nespresso's limited edition sleeves, they don't open in the same way as a traditional sleeve. So a traditional sleeve simply opens at the bottom like so. However, some of the more limited edition versions kind of open like that. Now, if you do happen to get one of these limited edition sleeves, they're not going to fit or work with Nespresso's touch sleeve dispenser. That's a bit disappointing, because the touch sleeve dispenser retails for $42 or roughly 550 South African Rand. Now, that's a pretty penny for a device that essentially is just holding your coffee capsules and nothing more. Granted, it is quite cool that it does rotate, thus giving you quick and easy access to 6 different sleeves. However, as I mentioned before, if you have a limited edition sleeve, it might not fit within the dispenser, and you also have to be careful when opening the sleeves, because if you do it wrong, well, the usefulness just goes straight out the window. Other than that, the touch sleeve dispenser is quite sturdy, it does what it's advertised to do, and it looks pretty good. However, there is another contender for best dispenser, and that is Nespresso's Bonbonniere. Nespresso's Bonbonniere is made out of a PMMA material, so although they advertise it as glass, it's basically plastic. Now, it seems quite similar to Perspex, so if you had to have one of these and drop it, it's going to crack and possibly break apart. So that's one downside of the Bonbonniere versus the touch sleeve dispenser. However, where the Bonbonniere excels over the touch sleeve dispenser is that when you open packs of Nespresso and you fill the Bonbonniere up, like so, not only does it give you quite a nice visual representation of each of the Nespresso capsules, but you never have to worry about accidentally damaging one of the cardboard sleeves and therefore rendering your dispenser completely useless. Something else I'd like to mention about the Bonbonniere is the way that it looks. It's actually made to resemble a Nespresso Grand Cru, just on a much larger and clearer scale. Now, what's cool about it as well is when you do throw a lot of your Nespresso capsules into it, you get quite a nice looking cavalcade of colors from all of the Nespresso capsules. Of course, one downside is that it sometimes can make it a little bit difficult to find the exact flavor that you're looking for. Whereas the touch sleeve dispenser, the flavors are immediately available, you can see which one you want and you can just select one. For the most part, Nespresso's Bonbonniere is clear of any markings with the exception of, you guessed it, the Nespresso logo. I mean, how else are you going to know it's an Nespresso product? So I've used both Nespresso's Bonbonniere and Nespresso's touch sleeve dispenser for quite some time. I actually used the touch sleeve dispenser for well over a year before eventually switching over to the Bonbonniere. And the main reason for this is because I just got so irritated at my family destroying the sleeves so that we couldn't use the dispenser the way that it was meant to. And in addition to that, sometimes when you would take one capsule out, 2 or 3 would follow. Now, these are not problems you get with the Bonbonniere because the Bonbonniere is quite self-explanatory. It's basically like a really pretty looking Nespresso branded Tupperware that you're filling with your Nespresso Grand Cru. But with that said, I actually found myself trying new flavors more often because of the fact that sometimes I just dig my hand into the Bonbonniere and take the first available flavor, or I actually ended up mixing flavors. So a great example is the one day I took a chocochino and I took a vanillio and I put them together and I had a chocolate vanilla mug of coffee. And it was delicious, and I feel that the Bonbonniere sort of steered me into the direction towards trying out newer flavors. Something that I really like about the Bonbonniere is that you can place it completely flat on its bottom, therefore making it act a bit like a bucket where you just dig your hands straight in from the top, or it actually has an indentation on the back as well, so that it can be placed like so, therefore giving it an even easier way to access your Nespresso Grand Cru. And it just makes the Bonbonniere ever so slightly more versatile in terms of dispensing your capsules. Despite the fact that the Bonbonniere does seem ever so slightly smaller than the touch sleeve dispenser, the good news is that you can put even more sleeves into one of these. Now, Nespresso says that you can fit 5, and the touch sleeve dispenser can naturally take 6. Well, I'd like to let you know that I've managed to fit at least 7 into there, and of course, it's a really full and tight fit, but you can do it, allowing the Bonbonniere to slightly edge out the touch sleeve dispenser. Another positive for Nespresso's Bonbonniere is that it's cheaper than the touch sleeve dispenser. It comes in at around about $35 or 450 Rand. So between the two, not only is it ever so slightly more useful, but it's also cheaper. Granted, should the Bonbonniere fall, you're most likely going to damage it a lot easier than the touch sleeve dispenser. Something else I'd like to mention about the Bonbonniere, and this really surprised me, is how resilient it is to scratches. So anyone who drinks Nespresso knows that Nespresso's capsules are made of aluminium and therefore they have a metal base. Now, I thought that the Bonbonniere would scratch a lot because it's a clear plastic. Well, the good news is that after almost 6 months of daily usage, the Bonbonniere still looks great. Sure, on a closer inspection, you can see some of the scratches on the inside, but you really have to be looking for them, and from a distance, it actually looks good. It almost looks like glass, but it's not. I guess a small negative of the Bonbonniere is that it can make quite a noise when looking for a capsule. But really, that's just a very small nitpick in an otherwise great dispenser. And there you have it. Those are the major differences between the Nespresso Bonbonniere and the Nespresso touch sleeve dispenser. So which one of these is your favorite? Definitely let me know in the comments below. With that said, my personal preference is on the Bonbonniere. Now, of course, you don't need to buy Nespresso dispensers to enjoy Nespresso coffee or to look after your Nespresso Grand Cru capsules. I personally like it because I'm an espresso drinker, so therefore I figured why not go with Nespresso products. Of course, there are very many other dispensers in the market, and you should go with what suits your budget. But if you're trying to live that George Clooney lifestyle, well, then you know, these are the items that you should be looking at. Thank you so much for joining me for this video. If you enjoyed it, you know what to do, and I look forward to seeing you all again soon over a cup of coffee.